Let me add myself to the stage, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, it's your girl, BRANDIJENAE, aka Queen B. And I am back with another live. Let me see if I can change this little style up really quick. I think I might want it to be like that. Yeah, let's do it like that for right now. Okay, guys. As you know, me and Word on the Curb usually go live on Monday evenings to do Real Housewives of Atlanta. However, I had to miss yesterday, last night. So I had Word on the Curve. She went ahead and did her review. I was able to pop in towards the end. So if you get a chance, go over to Word on the Curb's page. Make sure you subscribe and like the video and go and check out that video. But what we're going to do right now is we're just going to get right back into it. So I'm going to do just a full review. And to be quite honest, of course, we know that the major part of this episode, episode 5, is the big blow up at Kenya Moore's hair spa. And so ultimately, this is the last time that we see Kenya on film this season. She does not have any confessionals, and again, this is her last filming that we see on this episode. Give me 1 second. Let me go grab my drink. This mango dragon fruit lemonade from Starbucks. The bomb. I'm addicted to it. Okay, anyway. So the rest of the episode was really kind of slow because again, we have 4 new housewives, 1 semi-new, and we are still getting acclimated to their stories and still getting to know them. So it's kind of we're in a strange place this season because what I'm thinking about after I watched the episode for 3 times, I'm starting to think, what does the rest of the season look like? Because after this episode with Kenya not filming anymore, it kind of just leaves this blank space. And Kenya did post a Instagram message that felt like a goodbye. So we're not really sure if she's going to be invited to come to the reunion. She's not a part of the cast photos. Again, she doesn't have any confessionals. And so it seems like this is just like we get this part of the story and maybe that's it. I'm hoping not, but here's the other part. They've left other things open-ended, and then come back and act like that didn't happen or that there needs to be no closure. I.e., we kind of saw it or got a refresher this episode with Kenya and Portia. You know, the last time we saw them on stage, Kenya was attacking Portia, you know, for pretty much the same reason she was attacking Brit. That is her MO. But yeah, and Portia is back this season, and Portia and Kenya are, you know, trying to be besties or something close to it. At least they were up until Kenya jumped off the cliff. Okay. But let's just get into the episode so we can get down to the nitty gritty. Well, we know the name of the episode, episode 5, season 16, is about last night. So we do know that episode 4 basically left off with Brit outside of the venue for Angela's event. They were having dinner. Brit got upset with Kenya. She went to level 20. She's outside talking about Kenya need to watch herself. She don't know who she is. She got whips and chains and pow, pow, pows all over the place. Kenya gets in the car with Portia and she's like, that girl gotta go. Like, she talking all this mess, you know, like, and listen, I get it. You don't know a person. And I feel like what we understood and what everybody on that cast seems to understand, and I think most of us in the audience understands this too. You don't do that. Like, you if you're in an argument, even not in the argument, but definitely if you're in an argument, like you don't bring up your pow, pow, pow. You don't insinuate that you're going to get your pow, pow, pow. You don't do anything. If you're gonna do it, you just do it, right? You don't talk about it. Like you and that's a situation because it should be taken that serious. Nobody should be playing around that way. So like I say, that episode 4 left off there. Everybody's leaving. Kenya's like, this girl got to go. So we open up this episode at Shamia's house. Shamia's preparing to have Angela and Brit over. Brit and Angela come over, they go upstairs, and they're just pretty much gonna catch up and chat about what happened. I feel like they said last night, so I'm guessing the chain of events happened really fast, matter of days, clearly. So Angela is saying, let me see. This is what I wrote in my notes. Angela starts by saying she's catching a lot of backlash from the venue. So, right, she says she's getting a lot of backlash. They're like, how? Where? She's like, the venue. The venue is kind of like, do we need security? I guess was asking her like about what was happening and about the stuff that was being said. Again, nobody takes that lightly when a person is going off and I'll go get my pow pow pow, I'll go pow 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 up the place. Like anybody talking that mess, we take it serious. I don't play like that, because you get yourself. And that's if Kenya was as reactive as we think her to be. So what I mean about that, because Kenya very much is reactive, as we see in this episode. But she thinks about her reactions. So she knows what she's going to do before she does it, as opposed to just being a reactor that just reacts. And see, that's the part that's dangerous about a reactor, is because when you plan around like that, if you get around a reactor reacts. And so you end up in a situation you wasn't trying to be in, all because your mouth cashed the check. Your mouth wrote a check your couldn't cash. And that's kind of where Brit found herself in at first. I think Brit thinks she's sitting in the sunny side of this situation right now today. But hey, that's where she was at the time. So somebody must have called her, production network, somebody, because also what we saw from the episode that wasn't really clear when this news broke in the blogs. We weren't sure about that threat that Kenya was talking about, like when it happened. If it was something that was on film, if it was something that happened off camera and nobody was around, and if there was anything that could be substantiated or proven. And so going back to episode 4, we all saw it, we all heard it, which also means production heard it that at the time that it happened. So again, when Brit comes over and she comes in very apologetic, after explaining herself, and Angela kind of chiming in to say, well, Angela does admit that was her question. So she took on her friend's emotions, that Kenya was being standoffish to her and not welcoming. And so Angela took that opportunity to write the question asking Kenya if she could speak to Brit nicely. So it's funny how nobody really is kind of telling Angela, like, hey, you kind of kicked it off, because why didn't you even chime in to say like that was your question and what you meant by it? And I don't know why you just didn't like kind of clear that up. Why is it the next day after all the shit hit the fan that you want to kind of say, well, that was my question? But yeah, she says that it was her question, that she really wanted to speak up for Brit because Brit was feeling some type of way. Brit kind of takes that opportunity to second that emotion about how Kenya was cutting her off and not letting her speak, and she was being snippy with her. Listen, I just feel like this is all a figment of Brit's imagination. And I think Portia called it out right in the next scene that we're going to see. She called it right when she sat with Kelly, and oh no, I think this was at the hair spa. But anyway, Portia basically said, like, look, Brit had a preconceived notion of Kenya. I agree. So she expected Kenya to come in hot. Kenya was not coming in hot at all. I think a lot of that was strategy for Kenya. I think she understood that she was opening this business, and she really wanted to present a different character, in my opinion. She didn't want the villain, right? She'd go ahead and let somebody else be the villain. Um, and so she wasn't giving Brit anything. And Brit was really upset about it because I guess Brit was prepared to have it. Um, which I think, what is her tagline, is something about the people hating on her or something. So that kind of make it all falls in line that Brit walks around everywhere really expecting somebody to have a problem with her. And so again, she expected Kenya to come for her or to haze her or to have a little more energy for her. And oddly enough, Kenya did not, even though Brit was kind of on 10. And it was really strange, even for the viewers, for us to watch Kenya that way, because that's not the Kenya we used to either. So that's why it all looked unbalanced as we watching the first 4 episodes, especially the first episode where Brit is she gets upset about this ring, about Kenya asking, like, well, are you engaged or are you married? Um, and I clocked it then. Go back to the reviews, because I said it's something she trying to prove with this marriage, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the legitimize it. I don't know if it is. Look, y'all, I hate when. Okay, here we go. I don't know what it is, if she needs to legitimize their marriage. So maybe she got with this man and he had some other type of situation going on. And so it's really important for her to solidify what role she play in his life, that she's the wife type of deal. She seemed very stuck on that, and really stuck on the fact that she needed to prove something to Kenya. So anyway, that's just how we got here. So again, while she's talking to Shamia and Angela, she's just going through that. Shamia then asks Angela about what Portia had to say about Charles, saying that she insinuating that she knows some information about Charles. Angela replies no at that time, but we do later see her have a conversation with Charles about it, and we'll talk about it in a minute. So that's really all that happened there. I feel like the most I took away from that scene really was Brit. I thought she had a quick change of heart, and so that's why I'm saying, and I think everybody does agree at this point, is that production or somebody had to call that girl, and had to let her know that, listen, you can't do that. Like, you have to make that right. And I guess instead of taking care of that the way maybe a corporation would handle that, because I don't think that there's any corporate job that has any type of structure in it that would allow something like that to take place and that employee continues to come to work. Because I think Brit violated a company code, and which really was kind of about your workspace harassment, in a sense. Now Kenya has the ability to take things far, as we saw in the episode of talking about she trying to take food out her baby mouth. Like, what does Brooklyn have to do with any of this, in the grand scheme of things? But that's where Kenya goes with it. And so I'm saying, I may be insinuating that what Britt said was like workplace violence or workplace harassment, and that might sound far, just in the terminology, but for your work, it's not, because none of those things are expected when you go into your job. You are not expected to be threatened by your coworker and anybody else around, about a pow 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 or anything. You know what I mean? And I think that if something like that takes place, it should be taken serious. And more serious than the way that they handled it. But it seems like the way that they decided to handle it was like, hey, go make this right with Kenya. Get it together, go apologize, like basically appease her, make her happy. right? Make her happy so we don't have to do anything else about this. So she wakes up the next morning and she is, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's not who I am. I hate that y'all had to see me like that. That's what she telling Shamia and Angela. I'm confused though, because I'm kind of like, who was that girl last night though? And this is the thing. I'm out of character when I get upset as well. What that means, so here's the thing. It's not a whole nother character that I don't know exists. Like I know who I am when I'm upset. What I do is control that, right? Because I know me. Um, and so what it means to be out of character in a sense is like, okay, there could be somebody around me that's never seen me in a spaz out, basically. And I guess if a person did see me in a spaz out that way, it would be shocking, right? Because that's not something that a person is used to seeing me in. And while I could apologize for the spaz, what I wouldn't do is tell somebody, well, that's not me. Like, girl, yes, it is. Like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Who else was that? And where did that verbiage come from? If it's not you. So some of the stuff I've been upset and I have said some things while I'm upset. I've never said those things though. I've never said those things. Why? Because that's not something I'm about to do. And even if I was, it's not something that I need to announce. Again, I'm from Chi-Town, not Drew's Chi-Town, because I'm telling y'all, Drew is from like Harvey or Robbins or Dalton or somewhere over there. She not from Cook County. The girl can't be. Somebody better let me know where the lady from. But like I say, I'm from Chicago, for real, for real. You're not finna, no. By the time you see it, baby, you better be running. Like, yeah. So we're not gonna do that. And I thought it was really interesting. Brit used this terminology. I don't want her to think I was trying to intimidate her. And it's like, girl, like, what else was you trying to do? Like, the sentence itself is meant to intimidate. Like, what are you talking about? That's the little stuff that kind of bothers me about this show and about people in general. Like, don't try to play with me like I don't know, like, I don't have a good sense God gave me. Like, girl, that is an intimidating statement. You absolutely said it to intimidate her. You were saying it to intimidate somebody, maybe everybody around. But the problem is, Britt, you are not intimidating. Sorry. Anyway, I found that interesting. Make sure y'all drop down in the comments and tell me what you think. So, like I said, Angela said she did not talk to Charles about what Portia had to say, but we will see later in the episode. She actually does talk to Charles. Who wouldn't talk to their husband about sitting next to some lady you just met, and this lady got the nerve to tell you she knows something about your husband? You damn right I'm finna ask my husband, what is this lady talking about? You damn right. Now, it might not have nothing to do with being threatened, jealous. Might be some information the lady already know. But don't you ever have me sitting somewhere and some lady think that she can come and tell me something about the man that's sleeping in my house? Yeah, it's a no-go. That's a no-go. And that's why but Angela a little too classy for that. She reminds me of Sheree. Because she really should have put Portia in her place right then and there at that table. And she should have let her know, like, honey, you are on your second divorce. So you should know better than anybody about what boundaries there are with another woman's husband. Maybe she don't, considering she just maybe she don't know no boundaries. Angela should have took that opportunity to give us some, but she missed it. It's a missed opportunity. So Angela, I don't know if you come across this, don't try to do it now. It's done. We over that. Next thing is Kenya, Portia, and Kelly meeting at her hair spa. So Kenya is preparing for her grand opening. She invites Kelly and Portia to come by. Again, we are seeing Portia and Kenya get along. Tell me how y'all liking that. Is this weird? Is that weird for y'all to see them kind of cracking jokes and getting along? Listen, it's a little strange for me, but I was looking forward to it because I was a little sick of Kenya, like all on my girl's tail. Like I like Portia a lot. And I don't prefer Kenya as far as those two go. But yeah, and I was a little sick of her harassing my girl. So it's not, I like to see nice Kenya. I like when nice Kenya show up because she's not mean and nasty and vile. So I was okay with it. Even though, like, there's the scene from episode 3 when they driving off in the car. I really thought to myself, now that's an exit, considering the last time we did see them on screen together, honey. Portia was calling, Kenya was calling Portia all kind of hoes and everything. So anyway, it was a full circle, but it would be nice if we could see how they got there. But we know that it's just the job and its contracts. And so I guess they just fell in line with whatever the vision for the season was. Okay. So anyway, we see Kenya, Portia, and Kelly meet at the hair spa. Kenya is going to look for some models that she wants to model during the grand opening. During that time, they take some time to discuss what happened. Also, Kelly speaks up for Brit to kind of say what Brit wants to say, which is that's not her. I don't know who that girl is. I've never seen her act like that. And Kenya's like, look, like whatever you say, I don't care. Like, I don't want to get to know this girl. You can't tell me that she's somebody different because I'm just going by who she showed up to be. I'm not mad at Kenya for that. I do the same thing. You can't make me believe something when I'm looking at all of this. Like, no, stop playing with me and stop playing with my intelligence. So I agree with Kenya on that. Like, yeah, no. She gonna have to show up different if she want me to think that she's any different than the way I've seen her. She's gonna have to show it. And her friend is not gonna be able to speak up for her. That's all I kind of remember in that scene. Y'all let me know if I forgot something. I'm sure I probably did because I'm kind of skating through here trying to get to the main portion. So next we see Angela meet with her oldest daughter. So we get to see a little bit more of Angela's family, and we get to find out just a little bit more about the dynamics of the family. Um, Her oldest daughter is there to they meeting over tea or coffee. Her daughter name is Amari. Amari says, like, I'm surprised grandma not here. Like, why is she not here? So it appears that Angela got her daughter there under the vice of they would have some sort of family meeting. So there was a blow up at the mom's home that Angela bought, in which her mom, her daughter, and her sister lives in this home. The daughter is explaining a story of her going to want to use a car that Angela purchased for her mom. And so she's thinking, because you bought the car, it should be no problem with me using it as Angela's daughter. What do y'all think about that? Angela's daughter is 24. So I don't know. It felt entitled and privileged the way she was explaining this story to her mom. So she's kind of like, I wanted to use the car and I didn't think it should be a problem. Your sister got all in my face. Well, I think she said at first they wanted money from her. And then she said, then they got all in my face. The sister said something mean to her. I can't remember what it was. So Angela is kind of like, I can't believe that. Like, you didn't tell me all that happened. So she explains, like that Granny was supposed to come. Something happened last minute. She told me I needed to talk to my daughter. So, and she wasn't showing up. So Angela is like in this space acting confused. Like she don't really know what the issue is. Um, Amari, Amari, um, like I say, as she's explaining what is happening, Angela, the conversation was really unbalanced a little bit. Because it was clear that Amari was there to talk about whatever this issue is with the car and her mom and her aunt. And she had the nerve to tell her mom, y- like you shouldn't be helping them. So her mom was kind of like, yeah, they shouldn't disrespect you like that. Like that's not gonna take place. So she kind of had this attitude, like, I'm gonna nip this in the bud. I'll talk to her about whatever it is she said to her, how she was talking to her. And her daughter's like, yeah, you shouldn't be helping them. I thought, girl, you way too privileged. So, and then in the next sentence, we find out that Amari had gotten married without letting her mom know. It had been 4 months until Angela found out she was married. And it also finds out that, or sounds like, even when she found out that her daughter was married, it wasn't from her daughter. It sounds like it was from somebody else. Am I right about that? Did she say that in the episode? Did she say that her mom told her? I think she did. I know it didn't come from her daughter. Somebody else told her. So I thought that was strange because you just told us how close y'all are. Why would your daughter go get married without saying anything to you and then keeping it from you for 4 months? Listen, I got a 25-year-old myself. I got a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old. These kids, honey, they will go and do what they want to do. And you will find out on the back end. But I just didn't understand why she wanted to present something different. It's the same thing with Charles. Like it feels like she's presenting them in this different way than what it actually is. So anyhow, when Angela brings up that Amari got married and she didn't tell her and that really hurt her, Amari does what these kids do, honey, and she didn't gaslit her mother, turned it around on her. It's too much. I can't take it. I can't take it. So Angela's like, okay, okay, like calm down. Like she got her crying. So she like, okay, I don't want to, push the boat. So that's the end of that. We don't need to see Amari again. Let me just make that clear. I don't need to know no more about what's going on between this family. Everybody has some type of dysfunction going on in their family, and maybe it all don't need to be on TV. So you can keep whatever is happening because it's what it sounds like is that you got privileged people that you taking care of, and they not grateful and they not gracious, and then they fighting with each other about who should have what. That's what it sounds like, and I don't want to hear them. I don't want to see no more about it because that's just some old ghetto hood stuff, and we're gonna go and leave that right where it is, honey. Work that out in somebody's therapist couch or office or something, but not on Bravo and not on my TV screen. Yeah, that typical stuff y'all taking. And Charles kind of mentions it in their scene. Like I'm not finna take care of somebody and then turn around and have to tell them how to act. Like, no, we're not doing that. And I agree, we're not doing that. Okay, so the next scene after we see Angela with her daughter is Brit meeting with Portia. So it's at this scene, even though this is only the second scene that Brit had did, right? Before we see her headed to Kenya's event. It was at the time that I saw her with Brit because what I realized is when we saw her with Shamia and Angela, that's two. And then we see her with Portia. That's half of the cast outside of Kenya, right? Because Kenya not trying to meet with her, and Drew. So she met with everybody else. Okay. And so like I said, when I see her with Portia, her and Portia, of course, started talking about the event that happened or the incident that happened at the event. That's when it realized or dawned on me, like, okay, this is damage control. Somebody did call you and tell you make this right before, like you about to ruin your whole thing. So that's why I think she is going around and really just kind of giving this sob story, like, oh my God, Kenya was just being so mean. And like I said, even Portia has to admit it. It's like, girl, like, you saying that the lady been mean to you, but everybody, the cast and the viewers alike, we are all here to tell you, baby, you didn't even meet the Kenya you thought you was gonna meet. Like you didn't even meet her. And so yeah, you had way too much energy for her, Brit. Like you just had way too much energy for her. And I don't know why. I don't know why that's so hard for anybody to say to her, but I guess we're gonna see how it goes after, like next week and after, because maybe that is what the problem is with the rest of her cast and her. Because at this point in time, current day, Shamia and Kelly both have deemed her like the least likely, or like they don't, their least liked housewife. Um, and Britt and her, as of right now on the show, are besties. So it's interesting that Britt is like, I don't want to be around her. Like, I can't believe I was defending her. So clearly, however way she shows up in the rest of the season feels like a Kenya 2.0, which is the irony. It's like the irony, the karma, the cosmic universe, the I don't even know, the law of attraction, all of that, the energies of the universe. Like it's very odd the way this thing is working, because that's what it looks like, is that we're dealing with a baby Kenya. Um so like I say, they talk. um Let me see. I'm sorry. Let me go back to my notes. So Britt makes a statement while she's at dinner with Portia, and she says that she feels like when Kenya is around the group, she wants to put on a little. I thought that was interesting, because I thought to myself, what example do you have of being around Kenya outside of the group? Like, I think I would be okay with that being something that was noted by her, and something that she felt was like a angst, why she thought Kenya was being whatever it is she said Kenya's being, because she made it up as far as I'm concerned. Um, but when she said that, like that's why you have to listen to liars, because it was very interesting, right? It was like she said, I wrote it down. Brit is saying she feels like when she's around the group, she being Kenya, when Kenya is around the group, she wants to put on a little, like as if Kenya is overacting, or you like, well, as if Kenya is making a moment. And not that Kenya is not known for making moments, but I was confused why Brit said that, because you don't have anything to compare it to. You haven't met up with her one on one, so you don't have an experience with her outside of the group. You saw her at Shamia's birthday party. That was a group setting. Y'all saw each other again at Angela's event. That was a group setting. Like, why is it that you have this idea that when she's around the group, she's putting on, when you have not been with her outside of the group? Brit, you full of shit. And whoever the execs, whoever is on your side about it, full of shit also. Um, but I guess that's what's all gonna play out. Maybe she got everybody eating it out of her hand at this point, but maybe it all falls down and we end up seeing, like that again. She seems like a baby Kenya, like she's come in to wreck shit, uh, and not apologize about it at all. Yeah, full of it. Like she is full of it. So that's like I said, I thought that was interesting that she would go there. And I'm thinking, who fed her that information, right? Because it's not from your own experience. So somebody fed you that. And I don't know who. I don't know who. But we'll go to the next scene, because I want to get down to the nitty-gritty, child. Okay, so the next scene is Charles and Angela. Now, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this every time I talk about Charles and Angela, because I want y'all to remember Kelsey and Camille. That's who those two remind me of. Now, I'm not saying Charles is going to divorce this lady after this season. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I wouldn't be surprised if Angela comes back next season and we don't see Charles next season. That's all I'm saying. I think that Charles is here to put Angela on. I'm not saying that their marriage is fake or anything like that. I'm just saying that the marriage don't seem like it's a loving, like it don't, I don't know. I don't get the butterflies, I don't get the warm feels, I don't get any of that, honey. Like y'all just look, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. They just look like friends or something. But anyhow, Angela most definitely asked Charles about what Portia had to say, as she should. I don't know why it is she thought to tell Shamia that she like, oh, I didn't ask, and kind of blew it off like, why would I need to ask him that? Girl, because ain't nobody finna sit up in your face and think they can tell you about your husband. That's why. There is no insecurity about going to your husband. And because again, I ain't never been married, but I tell you, the day that I do get married, my husband better know. Better know. Ain't no female about to come to me and think they can tell me about who sleep with me. Uh-uh. No. It's a problem if it happened. It's a problem. And so you better if I come to you and I let you know what's going on, you better damn well have a whole different story than what this one is saying. You better damn well. It better not even sound familiar. Okay. Anyway, but like I said, I don't know why Angela felt like she needed to tell Shamia that she didn't and blow it off like it was no big deal. And it may not be a big deal. Like I said, I feel like Charles and Angela, which she kind of have said it, but she won't give us a full, it's like Phaedra in her pregnancy timeline. She won't give us a timeline. She won't let us know exactly how long were y'all separated, because it's clear that you were separated for some time. You said that. And that's again why I go back to, it reminds me of Camille and Kelsey. Because when Camille came on Beverly Hills that first season, I mean, she was enamored that Kelsey Grammer was her husband. And of course, we knew Kelsey Grammer. So so she presented this wonderful marriage, and turns out it was a sham. And that's what I mean. I'm calling a marriage an arrangement. That's what I think it is. Because I don't think it's a sham. I think she knows who her husband is. I think she deals with him accordingly. And that's that. Like, it don't have nothing to do about the man sleeping around on her or nothing. It's just she know who she fooling with. They've been fooling with each other long enough. And so that's how they operate. It's strange to me because, like I said, she wanted to talk about what was going on with the family. He ain't trying to hear it. You say she gonna, let's see, she gonna stand for anything for the perks. Yeah. And even though she doesn't present like, I mean, I don't know. Thirsty don't always present as like this extra thirsty like person. But again, it just, yeah, she's just too shady with the timeline. So I can't follow her. I can't follow her and Charles's relationship. She too shady. Let's see. Let's move. So now we getting on to the event. Getting to the main event, child. Main event. Okay, we see everybody, they spanning through, people getting ready. Kelly goes and pick up Brit because they didn't talk Brit into coming to the event anyway. Oh yeah, that was the conversation Portia did have with Kenya earlier in the episode, asking her were all the girls invited and has she uninvited Brit. She told her she didn't uninvite Brit, but she, kind of just expected Brit to not come because of what transpired. However, Kenya was smart because she was prepared for that lady to come. Anyway, we see everybody getting ready. Like I say, Brit goes and pick up, Kelly goes and pick up Brit. Cynthia arrives at the event. We watching them take their pictures on the red carpet. Everything looks nice. Listen, I don't have any more notes after that, so we just gonna go into a free for all because this is the event and this is just the end of what we're talking about. The last note that I do have is Kenya kicks off opening with a homage to the Bronner brothers hair battle. Let's see. Portia have points and talk with everyone. Yeah, yeah. And listen, I understand why Portia is not giving Drew anything. I do understand it. It reminds me of the last season with Marlo and Kenya. It reminds me of that, even though I didn't agree with Kenya when she did it to Marlo, but I'm on Portia's side when it comes to Drew. I wouldn't give Drew any I wouldn't give her any energy either. Because Drew is a performer. You take that clown show and go do that on your own. I am not gonna be a part of your clown show. Yeah, no. You and your clown ass husband, y'all go do what y'all do. Y'all go do what y'all do. Count me out. And if Dennis want to join the clown show, be my guest. But count me out. I'm with Portia all the way on that. All the way. But before, because that reminds me, because right, so we kick off the hair show with the Bronner brothers hair battle. I thought that I really liked that. Can you go, girl? That was top. And really, because if you I'm a beauty I'm in the beauty industry. I do brows and lashes. I had went to cosmetology school many moons ago. So I'm saying that to say I am a beauty and I'm in the beauty industry. I love everything about beauty. Part of that is hair shows. I came up in the time frame where hair shows was everything. I've performed in hair shows. I've modeled in hair shows. I've styled in hair shows. I've done hair for hair shows. Not that many, but enough. Anyway, but I'm saying Bronner Brothers is like known as the biggest hair show in Atlanta. They was huge. I think they still are. And so I just love that. It was kind of like nostalgic, and I don't know, gave me all the feels. So go Kenya on that. And then again, so Brit shows up, right? Brit shows up. She has flowers because she wants to, you say, talk that resume. Right. Like I did all of that. Make you sound old, girl. So she shows up with flowers because she's thinking, I'm gonna give her these flowers. I want her to accept my apology. Again, I do think that was network driven. Somebody from the higher up called her and told her that she needs to make it right with Kenya. And I don't know if that's because maybe Kenya called somebody that same night and let them know what was on her mind as far as dealing with that girl and what she said. And so they turned around and made a call to Brit and was like, Brit, you need to make this right. You need to do whatever you have to get her, get her back on this page and not on that page. So she is swallowing all her pride, which I think is odd though, because I don't know why, like you had a lot of vitriol. So I don't know why you thought somebody was just going to accept that the next day. Like you certainly couldn't come to me the next day. I'm going to need a couple weeks after you threatened me with a pow, pow, pow. And I don't even think a couple weeks going like, cause baby, who like me and you gonna have a conversation again, girl? Bye. Like, girl, bye. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Okay. But whatever, they ensemble cast, she got to make it right. So she show up. Kenya is acting like she don't even see the girl. She is acting like she is a ghost. So Brit says, okay, fine, and listen, this is how I know somebody got in that girl ear, because the energy that she had when Kenya didn't even ignore her. Or you say as she should. Yep, as she should. She should have brought her flowers. You're right. But like and the same thing. So she Kenya didn't want to have nothing to say to her. She did not cause a scene at her place. She politely left those flowers sitting there and she turned around and walked out the door. And I agree with you. Let me put this up. As she should. Now, I'm not sure she should have shown up at all, because I'm wondering, has she not shown up if the rest of what happened would have happened. Because this is what we also notice. Now, in the mix of that, okay, in the mix of that, let's touch on Drew real quick. In the mix of that, let me see. No, Kenya should have ignored her. Okay, yeah, right. You saying Kenya shouldn't have, I agree with that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was all off balance, and that's what I mean. I think the network and the producers, somebody had something to do with that girl showing up in that way, because yeah, you probably should have just like gave her a couple days or something before you tried any of that. Possibly, because not even to say that would have done anything, but yeah, I think that was a bad move on Brit's part, but I understand why she did that. So in the midst of that, we see Drew popping in. She is late yet again, honey. Late Drew. And I don't know what she is late for. Like, girl, she get all this glam done, and it's like, girl, you could have did that yourself. Like, what are you doing? And of course, she got her bodyguard with her. So with her bodyguard with her, she is ready to come full force at Portia. Like, let me go say hi to Portia. I know somebody put her up to that too, because somebody is probably trying to get them to have some type of conversation as it pertains to Dennis working with Drew and that. Listen, Portia, she come in the middle of the circle. She tries to do hugs. Portia like, oh, okay, you're gonna try to talk to me or hug me while you're in my face. So she's like, oh, we giving that energy. And so Portia like, whatever. So she said, well, I've been trying to talk to you. I cannot with Drew. I cannot. And that's what I mean. Like, I understand Portia like just not having anything for Drew. Because let's just go here. Drew is wrong. Portia did take Drew under her wing. I clocked Drew picking up Portia's personality traits from day one. As soon as I saw her put that gold naked wig on her head, I said, oh, she about to try to steal Portia's personality. Okay. And look at her. That's exactly what she doing. She want everybody to believe it's her, but whatever, girl, because you wasn't acting like that at first. Anyway, we are all entitled to evolve and change. Okay. We are all entitled to do that. But again, I'm not mad at Portia for just letting her clown around on her own. You know what they tell you? If you become what's the saying? If you become a part of the circus, something like that. If you do what clowns do, you become a part of the circus. So I'm gonna just stay over here on the sidelines and I'm gonna watch. Because I came to see the clown show, not be a part of it. That's what I think Portia is on. And at this point, in today's time, Portia is totally fine with Dennis working with Drew. Because it's not like, unlike the whole Married to Medicine and Dr. Greg and Quad and King and Sweet Tea, unlike that, I don't think Portia does have any unresolved issues with Dennis. Dennis cheated on her. She is done with him. She don't want to be bothered with him. I think the point of Drew trying to film with Dennis, I think it was odd. Like, you have your own storyline. Talk about that man that is under your stairs in the basement, okay? Talk about that. Why would you bring my baby daddy on here to make him part of your storyline? I agree with that. It's a boundary. It's a boundary. But Drew doesn't know boundaries. That's why I said she is from Dalton or Robbins or Harvey. She is not from Cook County. She might have lived there sometime, some point in her life. That lady is from some other place in Illinois. She is not a Cook County born and raised. She doesn't act like one. If she is Cook County born and raised, she Cook County born and raised and was raised out there in the suburbs. That's what had happened, because she don't have them city girl vibes. She don't have that city girl loyalty. Like, when you from the city, you move different. And yeah, she ain't got it at all. Anyway, so that happens. Drew gets her little scene in there. I wonder if there's a rule about you need to talk to get your paycheck for the scene. I don't know. That would be interesting to find out because that felt off balance as well. That's why I say I feel like somebody put Drew up to it because she did this little thing like, well, we did talk. She keep trying to tell Portia that she's talked to her, and Portia's like, girl, you are not finna, like wrap some other conversation up. Like we discussed what you talking about on that conversation. Like cut it out. Drew played too much. Drew played too much. She needs to go sit on somebody's couch and get all that gaslighting, manipulative energy up off of her. Maybe she can't do it until that man move out that house. I don't know, but I can't with Drew. I cannot. That's where I'm at with that. And I agree with Portia. Pay her dust. Like let her do that. Let her do her. Don't you even worry about it. Portia got her own stuff to worry about because she ain't got no storyline, honey. She can't film in a house. Like her husband is harassing her online. Like, yeah, Drew, leave her alone. Like, girl, you got enough. But now we get to the main event. So here's what I wanted to say. When Brit showed up to give the flowers, Kenya ignored her, didn't acknowledge her at all. She set those flowers down, and then she turned around and she walked out. Okay, she was leaving. Respectful enough. Again, I don't think she should have shown up at all. But the fact that she did show up, once she realized that that was not received, she turned around and walked out as she should if you was going to come anyway. But in the midst of that, you see Kenya saw her, and she's trying to, now she's ready to get this started. She's getting everybody's attention. This is where Kenya, like, I feel like Kenya doesn't understand why she's sitting down the way she is. Because these moments, it was just kind of like, you put a lot of thought into this. So last night on myself and Word on the Curbs live, I mentioned I'm just glad after everything took place, I'm glad Brit was not in the room. Because as bad as everything was, that Kenya pulled up the first poster, and it looked like, because everything was blurred out, but it just looked like it was different pictures of her, probably from different time periods. She was trying to just say what kind of work this lady had done. And I guess maybe what she looked like in the midst of getting this work. We didn't get to really see that. Brit has a strong face, so I don't know. Anyway, so Portia mentions also, like, if this is the first slide, like, where are we going with this? And so the next poster board, I believe, is the poster board with this image of Brit giving fellatio. It had been a rumor that it was a picture of a cucumber, but I am here today to say, no, I think it was actual fellatio. I think it was an actual penis. And I'm not really sure if it qualifies as RP, but it does qualify for some type of harassment. It does. And here we go back to, because we're not talking about just street code. Y'all on a reality show and you work for a network. So there's some type of corporate rules involved with some of this stuff, right? But I don't know. I feel like with reality TV, maybe it get a little tricky because maybe things can't be as cut and dry because, like, how would you get some of the stuff that you need to get? But harassment is harassment. Workplace harassment is workplace harassment. And it seems like that might be something under the guise of which Kenya found herself in. And not because I don't know if there's anything to say what one did was worse than the other, because I don't think it is. I think Brit had no business doing what she did, and she is lucky that she did that with that person, because if she did that with the wrong person, she might still be watching her back to this day. Okay? That's the lesson that Brit needs to learn, because you come across the right one, baby, you will be scared to walk out the house. Okay? But you picked it up on Kenya. Kenya took that opportunity, and this is the problem that I think Kenya is missing, and maybe, like I said, why she's sitting out. Do you know the thought and planning that had to go into that? And again, I'm confused about the time frame, like how many days took place from the argument at Angela's event to the actual grand opening of Kenya's event. It feel like I'm gonna just guess and say maybe a week, because we know the conversations that was happening. Those conversations seem to be the day of, maybe day after that, day after. So I'm gonna say maybe 5-7 days. Again, 3 days, 5 days, 20 days. You know how much mental capacity you had to put into investigating her, which she said a part of her speech. Here, let me just play it. Let me pull it up, and we're just gonna listen to what she had to say. So like, but going back, I think that's why Kenya is in so much trouble. And is basically not filming, basically been exiled from the Housewives, seems to be indefinitely. Uh-oh. And I think a part of that is just because of that part. It's kind of like the premeditated part of it. It's like you literally went out of your way to go find somebody, to go find this. You say, yeah, she was drilled in on that plan. Yeah, she was like laser focused. And that's why I'm saying, I wonder if Brittany, if she hadn't shown up, would that have happened? I wonder if Kenya just had that specifically to embarrass Brit if Brit showed up to her event. That's what it seemed like to me, because that's when it all came out. And even though Brit walked out the door, thank God. Look how God worked. Like, look how God works. Like you never know what God is keeping you from with certain stuff. So even the fact that maybe she felt left out because the rest of the group was going, and this her first season on Housewives, and she understand the meaning of these group events. But look at God protecting you, because I think if that lady had been in that room and that poster came out, we probably would have a whole nother story that we was talking about. Because that lady talking about whips and chains and pow, 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 she didn't make that up off her dome. Okay? So that means that somebody, it's either her or somebody around her got it. She ain't said that for no reason. She ain't said that for no reason. You say, so I wonder, was she still outside when they saw? So it looked like she was. Okay, so now here's Kelly. Listen, it's only five episodes on this new season. I like Kelly. Kelly needs to come back. Yeah, I can say that. 5 episodes, I like Kelly. So this is what I'm gonna say. Kelly ended up leaving right when Kenya put up that first poster, right? She say, okay, I'm not doing this. And because Brit is her friend, you want a friend like that, right? Even though she likes Kenya and she getting to know Kenya, what she said is, I'm not finna sit out here while my friend is on the curb and I'm gonna sit here and let Kenya, like do this. No, ma'am. Whatever the hell happened is gonna happen without me. And that's a friend. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Yes, ma'am. Let me go join my friend on the corner while this lady come in here and do whatever she about to do. So I'm saying that to say, no, she was on the corner. She was at that she might be used to being on the corner, but she was at the Mercedes like truck or whatever that they rode in. So when Brit walked out, she was walking back down when Kelly walked out, she was walking back down to Brit, and that's what she say, it's time for us to go. And Brit say, are we leaving? So Brit was just gonna wait, until it was over, or until Kelly came back. So no, she was still there. She was just outside. And now and I guess we'll find that out next week because Brit is still filming. So I'm guessing we'll find out how it is that she came to see it. So I'm wondering if the first group of people, as they walked out, if there was anybody who stopped and said it to her, if she knew what was happening inside. But maybe because I would think that if she did know, honey, you turning around busting through that bitch like, excuse me? Like, hold on, excuse me? Yeah, right? So I don't so oh, that would be nice, like kind of interesting to see if we figure out those little details because maybe security kept her from going back in because they knew what happened. But and I want to know the time frame, like, right? Did everybody clear out after that? And here's where Kenya messed up the church's money, girl, because fighting whether or not you are able to share that type of information, and this is where Kenya gets caught up in the technicalities of stuff, because Kenya is not just smart, she's intelligent, which this move did not prove that, honey. It did not prove that. And then again, it's this cosmic world, karma, everything. I feel like her antics just caught up with her because again, we're talking about the thoughtfulness for you to go and hire an investigator to dig up information. Once you find the information, you go to a Kinko's, FedEx, wherever, and print these things out. Not just on like regular copy paper, but you print a big poster board. You know, so the intent behind that, much like what I said about Brit, like when she made the statement, I don't want her to think I was trying to intimidate her. Girl, bye. What else was you trying to do? Same with Kenya. Like, Kenya, as you was making all of these steps, paying this money and doing all of these plans, nobody said, girl, you sure about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody said that. She thought it would be a key. That's what I mean. Her antics really caught up with her, I think, and that was more karma than anything. Because Kenya is the stunt queen. Kenya been pulling stunts since the day she arrived. She also, that's where Drew got it from with the bone. I picked up on Kenya pulling Drew over to the side. So Kenya was coaching Drew from her first season. Drew, listen, Drew is just gonna follow what she can. She's an actress. She is on here to act. We are never gonna know who Drew is. But I saw Kenya kind of like taking her under her wing. I'm gonna call it coaching. But yeah, Kenya was coaching her. So again, when we remember, she brought that bone with her to the cabins or whatever for the one lady. I can't remember. Sheree's friend. I can't remember that. Fatima. The one that's going on vacations with Candy and Todd currently. Yeah, that girl. And all I'm saying is she going on vacations with Todd and Candy, and yes, it's just them three. Now they are just friends, and friends go on vacations together. But yes, it's just them three that's been going on vacation together. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying no more. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm just pointing it out. Anyway, oh, and now even though Drew ate with the picture when she gave Toya the picture, about being her biggest fan. See, but that Kenya is the stunt queen. Kenya, gave Drew some pointers about what to do. And at least Drew listened. But anyway, so I like to say, I think this was a stunt that, like you said, she thought it would be a key. I guess maybe because it's online. No, yeah, I guess because it's online for her, she seems to say that the law for RP does not agree, like, because I don't know. I guess because it's online, she says, Brit, I think there's a statement right now today underneath Andy's there's a post that's going around. Andy did a podcast in which they was discussing the incident, and Kenya has responded to that because she is upset about those two co-hosts and the way that and what they had to say, because they basically was deeming what she did as SA. And so, I mean, listen, all of these allegations, nobody wants to hear this attached to their name, which is why when you saw a naked penis in somebody's mouth, you probably should have just did that privately between you and the group. You probably just should have waited until your event was over, and when y'all all was together and it was time for y'all to hash out whatever, you probably could have pulled it out for the other girls. But when you did that in a room full of people you invited to your grand opening, you did. You 1000% here to violate something. I mean, you 1000% had to violate something. There has to be some code of conduct that is not okay. Um, and that's what she found out. Like, and I really wish we could know, because Andy did say that they had two investigations. I would love to know what the outcome of those investigations truly were, because I am of the belief that they probably did offer Kenya a solution to continue filming. I don't think she agreed with it. I think she wanted something different to happen to Brit that wasn't offered on the table, and she stuck her heels in the ground about not returning until she saw something happen with that girl. She didn't. What? She didn't what? Tell me. Because I be talking so much and talking so fast. She didn't what? What she didn't do? And who is she? Which she we talking about, child? Um, but now I don't know, because Kenya strikes me as that person who is gonna stand her ground. Um, she didn't agree to come back. Okay. Okay, yeah. Well, right. That's what, like, I got a feeling that her not filming the rest of the season, I don't think that that was the network giving her that option. I think that's the option she took on her own. And like I said, because she probably was not satisfied with whatever it was they were doing with Brit. Now, this is what I want to know, because I don't watch What Happens every week. I have watched I've watched it 2 or 3 times since Real Housewives of Atlanta been airing. But this is what I want to know, because I'm wondering if this is a part of Brit's punishment. Brit hasn't been on Watch What Happens Live yet, has she? Because I thought if she had or if she was able to come on Watch What Happens Live, seemed to me they would have had her on Watch What Happens Live Sunday night, and possibly sitting there with Cynthia, because Cynthia was on Sunday night. But when I'm thinking, so that's kind of why I have been watching Watch What Happens, is because I just kind of want to see the new housewives be introduced, and I don't know, see how they do on the show. She hasn't done any promo. Okay. See, that's what I'm trying to say. There's something that's missing, and there is some type of repercussion that Brit is facing. It doesn't seem like we notice it because of the absence of Kenya being so vivid, right? Her not being in the cast photo, her not having any confessionals, her not, you know, being invited anywhere, to be quite honest. They probably wanted to wait and get feedback from the episode. Maybe so. Maybe so, but that's why, that kind of makes me feel like I'm probably onto the right thing, is that the network probably didn't just tell Kenya, like, "Oh, we done with you." I think they did try to work something out, and I think Kenya wasn't having it. And listen, maybe she's right to not have it. These are, like, when you make that choice, there are repercussions behind it. And this is one of them. And that's the thing, I hate, but that's what happens when you get wrapped up in your own hype, Kenya, is that you didn't take a second to step back and think about it. Like, this is your business that you just finished crying about putting all your money into. And I mean, I looked it up online. I'm not able to get to a website. Okay. It says that they open like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's maybe like a 10 to 6. All the other days says that they close, but the website is down. I don't know if that means they got a different website, because I wasn't able to find it. I just did that because I'm just curious to know if it's open or not. But at the same time, it's got this stain on it. And Kenya, like, if now she's not my favorite person. I have been waiting for Kenya to get her tail off this show since she came. I can't even tell y'all. Let me tell y'all, my favorite housewives moment is Portia dragging that girl on the reunion stage. Sorry, I don't condone violence, but I do like that moment. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Oh, I poked myself in the eye, y'all. And really because Kenya deserved it. Uh-oh. And did I just knock off one of my lashes while I did that? Lord Jesus. Anyway, but yeah, and Kenya deserved it. Well, let me take it back. Don't nobody deserve anything. But listen, Portia did what I would have wanted to do. That's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. I'm gonna leave it there. They know they should have kept Kenya. Yeah, now listen. That's why I'm saying I'm thinking that they wasn't really trying to get rid of Kenya. I think Kenya just had to stand on her ground. And again, fight for it. Like, listen, you feel like you've been treated unfairly, fight for it. Part of her speech that she was talking on in the introduction to exposing Britney, she led up to talk about, just some of the stuff she's been through on the show, feeling like she's been gaslit, targeted, treated unfairly, dragged. I got a clip that I'm gonna end up putting up because Carlos King, Dustin, and Claudia. Boy, Claudia is so thirsty. And and I'm really upset with Carlos King about the Claudia, because I don't know who was asking for Claudia. I know the hell I wasn't. And it doesn't make me listening to his Monday Night Lives enjoyable anymore. But I did listen last night. And it doesn't take Claudia much time to make sure she takes up for her friend. And it's funny because I'm telling y'all, Kelly showed herself to be a good friend, but Claudia, I don't know, Claudia is different. I don't know. She said, I feel her. She tired of MFers coming for her, like Marlo doing all that on the door was crazy. She probably felt, let me stop this bit right now. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's valid. But here's what I would have to, this is where Kenya always messes it up for me, though, because you never think about what you did. See, you can't do stuff to people and then tell them how mad to get. I feel like Kenya has been an antagonizer her entire stint, except for this season. And that's why it's so off balance, because Brit, as Portia clocked it, Brit was expecting that antagonizer to show up. And so Brit read into something so tiny and minute that was not even made to antagonize, and she turned it into an antagonizing moment, because Kenya's personality and reputation precedes her, and it precedes her as nasty, mean, villain, beautiful, but all of those other things too, right? Said, I don't like or wouldn't take that peasant's comment nicely. Correct. Let me get a little napkin because my eye was watering a little bit. Sorry, y'all, but correct, right? But see, that's what Kenya does. And so the other thing too, what I said last night, this is another thing that I think Kenya miscalculated, right? When Kenya first came on the show, and again, that was 12 years ago. When Kenya first came on the show, and with the group of ladies she came in with, and in the time frame, right? Time frame also, it was a read to call somebody a hoe, right? To insinuate that they may sleep around with different men, if there was a shun to that acknowledgement, right? So Kenya kind of got that was kind of the worst of I guess the insults that you could give women. What was it? That's how she got her butt dragged on that stage. But no, that was the next season when she told Portia that she should be quiet because if it wasn't a D in her mouth, she wouldn't know what to do with it. See, that's 10 years ago that came out of Kenya's mouth. Oh, you don't know. If it wasn't a D in your mouth, you wouldn't know what to do. Where did that come from, girl? But at a certain point, that was a read. Today in 2025, exposing somebody for sleeping around or even calling them any type of, like Cynthia said, whore. Like you kind of got to go to the old school saying like whore. You have to make it sound like deep, and because the hoe was kind of like, girl, everybody hoes, right? If you are a hoe, you in good company. Like the only people not in good company are the ones that's not. So I think that Kenya miscalculated that also, is that, exposing somebody for sleeping around is not a read today. Really, maybe you should go sleep around, which that's what I said. We heard that Mark has lost his business and he might be homeless, girl. So he might be over there with Kenya. Maybe she getting, down. So maybe that's keeping her spirits up. Like that's all I can say with her. Is that, look, I hope that her spot is able to be open. Um, and I hope that she's able to somehow recover from this part. Because listen, I have a suite. I'm actually recording out of it right now. Of my brows and lashes. Listen, it's not on the scale of what Kenya Moore is doing. I did not spend anywhere near 400,000, but I may have spent 400 to get up in here, right? Even still, opening something in which you are exposed, because I need people to come and book with me. I need people to come, let me surface them, you know what I mean, to be successful. It is scary. I even right today, before I started this live, I'm out. Um, I bought some flyers, and it took me the longest amount of time to decide to go, go put the flyers out like on cars or whatever, because I'm in a mall area. And so I went on, I finally did that today. But I'm gonna just share this with you because my fear is like, oh my God, I don't want to walk outside and all my flyers are on the ground. Like I think I'm gonna cry, right? But that's what it's so that part of me really, really is sad for Kenya, is that she may have, you say all females ain't got no room to shit on the necks, all going through stuff. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like the reads of yesterday, those are not reads today. You know what I mean? Like people are grown. People are doing what they want to do. Sleeping with whoever you would like to, as long as you've given consent, is okay. Like we're not in those time frames anymore. But yeah, so like listen, I went, I did it. And like I said, like so that's the part, that's the only part of me that I'm just kind of like, damn, Kenya, like damn, like you really uh and I know she is kicking herself in the tail today. She probably, I'm gonna go back and listen to the Tamara Hall video. And I know she took accountability in that interview, but I think that's the problem with reality TV. Why we see them always going through the same stuff is because she has to live through this 3 times, and I don't think this is an easy thing to get through, because yeah, she put all her sweat and tears in there, and your ego. Um, you allowed your ego to make that whole thing about somebody else. Let me grab sorry y'all, I gotta grab the charger so it won't go out. I should have already had this done. Here I go, I'm back. But yeah, Yeah, she really just let Brit get the best of this for of this. And actually in the way, okay, I left it over there. In the way that she thought she would be putting Brit in her place, um she allowed Brit to take her place. And the irony to that is Brit is not even interesting, like at all. Like not even a little bit. Nothing is interesting about Brit. I don't care that she was in videos when she was in high school. I don't care. So, um, I don't care that she dated Rick Ross. Like, it's Rick Ross. Like, I don't know, he had like 5 girlfriends in the last like year. Dating Rick Ross is not a flex. Yeah, that I don't know. It kind of sounds like whole behavior, or maybe like escort behavior, because I think that is the alleged rumor about her, is that she had been an escort for Rick Ross. Um, yeah, it's sadder that a newbie did it. That's what I mean. You let this lady come in, and again, she's not interesting. She doesn't have anything going on, and you allow that energy to come and just blind you. Um, yeah, yeah, that's sad for Kenya. And that's like I said, we in this cosmic universe, which I wish that Kenya would get to that place. Stop looking for, because I feel like now that this has aired, you don't need to fight to prove like, well, Brit said this. We saw what Brit said. We saw it. What you need to do is just take responsibility and accountability and acknowledge what you did and what you can do moving forward. I tell my kids this all the time. I tell myself this also. And I'm going to share it with you. Like, you only get to control yourself in this life. You don't get to control anybody else, not even your kids. Not even your kids. You can tell them what to do. You can advise them. Yeah, and you set punishments. Like, there's certain things you do, and out of respect of being the parent, your children do what you ask them to do and do what you tell them to do, right? But the grand scheme of it all is from person to person, because we all are different people and we all are able to make our own decisions. You don't get to control another person. You only get to control yourself. That's the most control you have, is over yourself. And so it's nice. I like to remind myself and my children that that's what you have to focus on when it's time to if you find yourself in a position and you like, damn, how did I get here? You got to focus on the choices you made. And even though it may have been other circumstances, other people doing things, or, causing you to make certain choices, those things are really external. You have to see, like, what did I do and how do I not get in this place again? You know what I'm saying? But I think that with Kenya, like, Kenya has always seen herself as a victim, going back to the Portia dragging her, that reunion, her first reunion, which Claudia, so you say this is true? Yes, ma'am. Which Claudia brought up as in her defense, was like, Kenya got beat up. Kenya didn't get beat up. She got dragged, but she didn't get beat up. Okay, let's be clear. And yes, it was on national TV. Embarrassing. Again, how many people have Kenya embarrassed on this television? That lady. Now, see, let's go back to how she wants Brit, right? She wants Brit to have some type of other retaliation for the words that she said. But let's go back to when Kim Fields was on the season and Kenya pulled that lady's chair. I remember saying then, Kenya needs to go. Because even though it was her chair, you didn't necessarily hit her. But see, you went too far. You came into my space, and see, that was the argument that was going on when it came to Portia. And like, she didn't want to believe that somehow pointing that scepter and using a blowhorn to talk to somebody when you are 1 foot away from them, you don't think that that causes agitation, and that somebody who grew up in the city is not going to be ready to wham on your tail. See, like that's the thing. You got to know who you fooling with, and that's the thing. You don't always know who you fooling with. Where I live right now today, wouldn't nobody know. Where I grew up, wouldn't nobody know that, because that's not all on me. That don't bust out from me. You would have to know me to know me, or to know, that, like, what area in Chicago I grew up in. That, don't get me wrong, I didn't grow up in the ghetto, but I mean, Chicago is Chicago. That's what I mean. If you grew up in the city, you move different, because you learn different things when you're in the city. You learn protection, you learn survival. Doesn't mean every day was unsafe. It's just street code. You learn it. You learn it. You know, you said it. Like, you said it. But that's what I mean. And so that go back to why I say that to myself, going back to the 10. I had to remind myself, and I tell my kids, and now I'm telling you, you only get to control yourself, because again, you don't know where a person's story, you don't know where they've been, you don't know where they headed, you don't know where their headspace is. And so you can do things, especially when it comes to a person who is from the inner city. Now I know Kenya is from Detroit, right? Kenya is from Detroit. Kenya is also Miss USA. You know what I mean? So Kenya not really moving. But I feel like Kenya probably does have, actually, that's what I mean. That's her survival that she does, right? Is to come and attack somebody else. That's her survival. And that's what I mean by, even like, if you grew up in the city, you probably do things. You have a certain loyalty code that's a little bit different than the suburbs, because you have to clock people faster. Like, when you come across city folks, especially in big cities, right? You got to know what's going on. You got to have your eyes and your ears open. Um, and again, you don't get to control people. So the best thing to do is to regulate yourself. And when you regulate yourself, then you can keep yourself out of trouble. Hello. Hey, is this Brandy? It is. Hey, Brandy, this is Howard. I'm the operations director over at Hamilton Town Center. How's it going? Oh, I'm fine. How are you? I'm all right. Hey, I just wanted to, I don't know if Robert ever, but a little paper that you're putting on cars, you don't allow that here. Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that. Okay. Okay. It is. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So let me ask you this. I'm just curious. Did somebody call you, or did you happen to see it? Okay, okay. I just want to say, I'm just curious. But no, I didn't know that. So I just, well, thank God. Like, right, because that's all I was trying to do, is promote my business, child. Like, okay. I was gonna say, it probably ain't a everybody problem. It probably was just me. Thank you. You know what's funny though? I laughed because I was like, it's well, I've been here for a minute, and so I just did that today. Again, not necessarily thinking I couldn't, but I think I was just more so nervous because I said, well, I don't want to come outside and all my good earned money is on the ground. But anyway, yeah, I got you. Yeah, no problem. And I appreciate that information. Do I have to pay for it or like okay. Okay, good. Okay. Yes, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. Listen, I was just getting a call. So remember, I just told y'all I went out and I put my flyers out, right? I put them on people's um windshield. And this is the call from I'm in a solar salon. So I got a actually, excuse me. I got a call from I'm in Hamilton Town Center. That's the mall. I got a call from the damn office. That's who was on the phone to tell me that I'm not allowed to put the flyers on the cars that's in the parking lot. I didn't know that. I'm just trying to do what I can. I do advertise on Instagram, but he said he's going to get me in touch with somebody who can help do some marketing on the website. So I mean that's even better, right? Yeah, that's even better. So I'll reach out to this young lady and see if we can get my stuff put on their website. But yeah, and listen, y'all heard me say like I just wanted to know like did somebody call and tell on me? Like cuz please don't let nobody be around here that like I don't know why that would annoy me, but that would definitely annoy me. But he said no, he had one on his car. Anyway, let's get back to what we was talking about. Let's see. What you say? I always say nobody really care where you from. You here now, this not that. That's it. That's it. But see, but I'm saying like you don't like that's why you have to be more in tune with who you are and controlling yourself because you don't know nobody's triggers. You don't know, you know what I'm saying? What might pop out of somebody. Going back to Brit with everything that she was saying about the pow 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 and the whips and the chains. Yeah, right. And see, I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't have put out my flyers. Okay, so yay. He said, well, I'm gonna remind Robert to let everybody know. I'm like, well, it probably ain't a everybody problem. If you ain't had no problem with it up until now, it's me. You know what I'm saying? Like I can take that. Um, but you know how folks are. Go on and tell everybody then. Just put my business on out there. Let everybody know I fucked up. Go on and do it. Um, so back to this though. So yeah, you know, so Kenya is just I remember this is another thing that I remember hearing a long time ago, and I just always remember it. Steve Harvey on his morning show, he made a statement, you know, he says some of the best lessons that you learn are you pay for them, and they are expensive. And that's what I think this is where she is right now. Like this is really a pivotal moment for her in her personal life because your antics just cost you a lot of money, a lot of money. Alignment. I like that. I like that. But yeah, it just costs you a lot. Oh, I like that a lot. I don't even know how much that word alignment just mean. You right. You are so right. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Chinorm. Um, but you know, that's like say this is gonna cost her. It's already cost her what it cost her to build out. The fact that she cannot use Real Housewives of Atlanta to help promote this business like it's probably costing her money she never even knew she would have access to. And then I'm wondering how many people are coming by because you're not on the Housewives, even though Kenya is a staple. She has, you know, people that follow her, and that's going to support her. It's just you just really cut yourself off at the knees because you're really not going to get what you could have got. And that's the other thing people forget too, is you get further being liked than disliked. Nene has had to learn that the hard way. Which she's trying to come back from it. If you went and saw her first only show, where Michelle Alien, is that what her name is? From what's she from? She got a blog, straight from the A. It might be that. It might be straight from the A. But anyhow, but she was insinuating that maybe the network has something to do with something. I can't even remember the details of what they was talking about. But what I do remember is Nene was quick to tell her, "Oh no, no, like the network ain't did nothing like that." Like she was quick to clean that up and make sure, like, because even though she's friends with Michelle Brown, is the lady's name, she's friends with her. She was like, "Listen, I am not here to blame nothing on the network. I love the network. Like they have been good to me." And it's like, yes, girl, because you get further being liked than disliked. Maybe it's not fair, but you do. When people like you, they let you get away with a little bit more than they do when they don't. Like, I don't, when you pretty privilege is the thing. When you're pretty, you get away with a little bit more than you do if you're not. Like, I don't like, it's not fair, but it's life, and that's what they tell us. Favor ain't fair. So get with the program. So yeah, I'm glad we was able to go over this episode. I am, it's funny that in all of this time I have always wanted Kenya off the show. Just because she did, I feel like her entrance in the show just really turned the shade into just this nastiness. It wasn't fun. It wasn't cute. It was nasty. And then it got nasty because she's nasty, you have to get nasty with her. And so it was dark. That last season with Portia with the bolo, that was so disheartening to see Kenya just really not be a girl's girl. Y'all on a girls trip. Portia is grown. Portia was single. Is it is it a ladylike thing to do to sleep with the stripper who y'all hired for your entertainment for the night? Yeah, maybe it's not that ladylike. But are you wrong? No. Where? You grown as hell to mention that. You know what I'm saying? Like she ain't 22. She grown as hell. That girl is 40, well beyond the years of making her own decisions and living with her own decisions and not needing you to second it. You know what I mean? And so for her to spend that entire season like really wanting to prove and see, and like, it's also, now I'm thinking about it, when we think about that, if there had been any type of picture, video, like anything that could have proven what she was saying about that, she'd have showed us that then. That was hater. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was so haterish. And again, just not a girl's girl. Listen, we go on a girl's trip because if I go on a girl's trip, we there to have fun, honey. Like fun, fun, fun. And let me tell you something, girls trip or not, whatever trip I go on, when I come back, I'm not giving nobody full reports about what's going on the group trips, on it, group trip, solo trip. I don't give a damn trip. If you wasn't there, the only thing you're gonna know is the pictures you see. You're not gonna know a damn thing else. Why? Because you should have been there. What we did while we was there was for the people who was there. I'm like that. I'm old school like that. I like, I'm what am I, Gen X? Right? I'm Gen X. So I like, even though I'm into doing reviews and using social media in this aspect for my business and everything like that, even though I'm into that now, that like I'm not one of these people that have to live my entire life online. I like a little anonymity. I like a little, no, you don't get to just because you follow me on Instagram or follow me on Facebook. Like, no, you don't get to know every part of my life. No, some stuff is for the people who hear. Yeah, some stuff is for the people who hear. Trips are that. So I just really didn't like that. That for me was really out. I mean, I had been done with Kenya, but I was done with Kenya there. Like that's why them other two seasons, we almost can just X them out of our memory because those other two seasons just sucked really bad. And it don't have nothing to do with Marlo or Sonia. I just really hate that they got that part of the show because it was a bad hand for them. But at least they got a good friendship out of it. Sonia and Marlo seem to be really good friends, and I like that for them. I like that for Marlo. Cause Sonia, I like her. Kenya likes to deflect. That's her MO. She is a professional victim. And that's what I'm saying. Like she never really takes any accountability for the the places she placed herself in. Um, she never really has done that. And I think that's, let's say that's a downfall. I think that's a downfall to anybody. We just happen to see her on TV. She just happens to be a public figure. So that's why we discuss her. But I feel like people are like that in life. You might know somebody, it might be in your family member who just cannot take accountability. And yet find themselves in those same kind of situations. So that's kind of where I'm at with Kenya. Kenya is a professional victim. And it's not to say that the things that she brings up are not valid points, but she doesn't think about like, okay, how do you keep ending up here? Like, let's talk about that and let's think about that. How do you keep ending up here? It's also to me, I got here because when I was young, I had this thought that I was just letting life happen to me, that I wasn't participating, meaning I was a victim of circumstances. Um, and again, I wasn't participating, meaning I wasn't making decisions to see a particular outcome. I was just letting life and whatever, and the decisions made around me and whatever was happening, just kind of float around. And I changed that, like I say, well, in my 20s when I said, like, no, that's not cool. Like, I want to participate in what happens in my life so I can at least end up where I want to be or somewhere close to it. And so that's what I think Kenya's gonna have her downfall. I don't know what the rest of the season looks like without Kenya. These first 5 episodes already felt a void, to have Kenya there, but to not see confessionals. And like I said, at this point, we know that she's not filming for the rest of the season. Phaedra is supposedly not coming in until possibly the last 3 or 4 episodes. So we on 5. So that means we probably got a good 7 episodes to go before. And I'm not excited about Phaedra, but I'm just saying this to say Portia might actually have some sort of story going on, once Phaedra comes, which is probably why they went and got Phaedra, I guess. Because I don't know what else is going on with Portia in the meantime. And then I guess we'll see the way Brit shows up and handles this. From her post 2 days ago, go look at my shorts. I have posted it. From her post 2 days ago, she don't think she did nothing wrong. Her actual caption says, "And I'm still here." That should get under Kenya's skin. Cause yeah, girl, you let a nobody come and push you out. Oh, and here go an even more ironic moment. Damn. What they tell you, what is the saying? The grave you dig for me, dig a double one because you will fall in it first. she came in wanting to, if she couldn't be next to and at the same, place with Nene, then she needed to knock Nene out the way. Um, and that seemed to be a mission of hers the entire time her and Nene had shared that screen together. Um, and and it seemed to work. The antagonizing, the gaslighting, the meanness. It got to Nene. Nene turned into a person that just was like, "Girl, yeah, we can't handle this right now. Like, no, you gotta go." Um, and can you manage to scoot her on out? Took her longer than it took Brit though. It took her 4 weeks to get your ass out of character and get you sitting at home trying to figure out how you about to do the rest of this. And again, Housewives is the easiest money you can make. Do you know how much money Kenya was probably getting to be on this season? And that's the thing, production probably, or the executives, whoever does the budget, probably was like, God, thank God, because now they got some extra money, even though they wouldn't have spent it on Phaedra. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, now you got some extra money in the budget, and you did it to yourself. And you did it to yourself. Like, girl. So we wishing Kenya the best. I don't know what the rest of the season even looks like. We definitely still gonna watch. We definitely still gonna talk about it. But Shamia, I think I mentioned this last night on Word on the Curbs Live. I feel like I've come to the conclusion. I usually try to wait the whole season before I some housewives I can make a determination about because they kind of are showing a lot. But most of the time, I kind of try to wait until either end of the season or to see if they come back for a second season. But I don't think my mind is going to change about Shamia. And this is what I have for Shamia. I like Shamia. Okay. I like Shamia. I'm glad to see her as a full-time peach holder. Okay. But I'm wondering who asked for it. If you think about, like, let's think about Marlo being a longtime friend, right? And then Shamia being a longtime friend. I think that it was obvious to all of us that Marlo wanted to be a part of the Housewives, right? But not just that, I feel like we asked for Marlo. Um, kept wanting her to be full time because even though she go low and she, go to the gutter with her reads, so did Kenya. And so she kind of had a banter that kind of fit in with the rest of them in some way, which is why it didn't work once she finally got on there. Because the people who you was doing all this stuff with, they're not there no more. And Kenya was paying you nothing, even though she made sure to team up with you the previous season so that y'all can go against Portia. That's neither here nor there. Um, so when I think about Shamia, I'm like, okay, who asked for Shamia? Shamia been around all this time. And listen, I get it. We don't know much about her life. We didn't know much about her story because she's not full time. I get it. You're right. She's not full time. But even as she showed up, she never really gave this, what they call it, the main character energy. Because again, I'm thinking if that is what that's what Marlo brought. Marlo brought, like, don't sit baby in a corner. You know what I'm saying? Like how can you sit baby in a corner? Like baby is not sitting in the corner. No, Marlo brought that. Shamia brings the go with the flow type of energy. Like, I get it. She's that girl. Cause this not taken away from her being that girl when it comes to having more money than all the girls on the cast. That girl, cool. I just don't think that the energy she portraying to be that girl, it don't feel authentic. It feel like it's a put on. So I don't know. The jury is still out for me about Shamia as a full-time peach holder. The jury is still out. Oh, I guess we got that. So I guess we're gonna look see which we already kind of got introduced to or the hiccup that's about to happen in Portia and Shamia's friendship. And see, that's another thing, might be why, like, I'm not sure about Shamia, being full time because damn, like they've been friends since they was children before we ever knew either one of these people. And it would really suck to sit back and watch them their friendship, disintegrate because of the power balances changing. And that, in my opinion, is not the fault of anybody. Because when power dynamics change, like not everybody survives. Um, not all relationships survive of power change. And I feel like where Shamia is, it's kind of like the power shift feels forced. Because I feel like if it was a shift in the dynamic of their relationship, then it probably should have shifted when she got married to Gerald. Maybe it did. Maybe that's, and again, maybe we didn't necessarily see it because she wasn't a full-time housewife. So we didn't really have to know very much about her friendship with Portia. But what I did always notice the whole time Shamia has been a part of the Housewives as a friend, I noticed that it seemed to be Candy that was always like bringing her somewhere. Shamia would be with Portia for things that Shamia should be with Portia with, like the best friend type stuff. But Candy was actually putting Shamia in a position. Listen, Candy might not be my best housewife, my favorite housewife, but I'm gonna give it to her. And this is the thing that's probably why people can't stand it. That Candy has so much favor and abundance and able to increase the way she does because she is always paying it forward. She is always paying it forward. Um, and look, that's how, listen, paying it forward is a form of tithing, if you didn't know. Yeah. Tithing is a principle that works, if you didn't know. Like you need, like, I know this is getting a little bit off topic, but I'm gonna use these last 8 minutes before I get off here, y'all. But I'm finna say, I know off the heels of Marvin Sapp and his congregation, people were kind of, I guess, outraged by him telling the ushers to close the doors, and they were collecting $40,000 from the church members, and he told everybody they needed to give something. Listen, I'm not here to debate what was okay or what was wrong about what happened at that church. I feel like anybody who had any type of derogatory comments about it probably ain't never been to church or ain't never been to church at a church where they are raising money for something. And what I'm saying is, now I've never sat in my church and I've never had the pastor direct the ushers to close the doors in an attempt to keep everybody in. This is funny. My doors are made to keep people out, right? They're not made to keep people in. And I think people get confused about that, right? A door was made to keep a person out of a room, not to keep a person inside a room, even though it works both ways. So my point with that is, that's why I say anybody who had whatever derogatory stuff to say about it, they just don't go to church, ain't never been to church, and ain't never been in a church that and I ain't talking about the building fund, because some of them Baptist church honeys, they'll have a building fund for 25 years and the building ain't changed yet. I ain't talking about that church. I'm talking about even if it's a semi mega, like a church that has a vision and they're sharing a vision with the congregation and they're talking about programs and buildings that they want to buy. John Hanna in Chicago just purchased, I think, the liquor store on the corner 2 or 3 blocks away from their church. See, this is stuff when you sit in churches like that, your pastor is going to talk to you about what his plans are. And let me tell you about, like say with the tithing, because a lot of times people get tithing into, they get that thought into you're paying the pastor or you're giving him money. I mean, if you want to see it that way, fine. But that's not what it is. And at the end of the day, when you do attend a church and you do have a pastor, that church does need to sustain, and its parishioners should be willing to help sustain it. If you're getting a good message from the person who's standing up in that pulpit, then you should be okay with, kind of helping that church out. Not to say you give them everything. You say, I don't see how people was cool with that. I wouldn't have been. Give me close the door. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I ain't never sat in church and had the pastor address the ushers to close the doors during a offering. But what I have been a part of is pledges. Is during, like, because offering and tithes are different, and that's why I'm saying tithing is a principle. And if you want to know about it, just look it up. It's the principle of give and take, you know what I mean? Like, it's a principle, like if 10%. So I'm saying this to say you don't have to tithe in the church. Tithing is tithing. You can tithe back to a charity. You can get tithe. That's what we're talking about, pay it forward. So going back to Candy, Candy has the abundance and she's able to be as successful as she is, not just because she knows what she's doing, but it's favor because she's always kind of she's paying her stuff forward. She's taking Funky Dineva. Like, if it wasn't for her, we probably would not have known him. He's one of the first bloggers I ever even started listening to. I probably wouldn't even be on here doing this if I had not ever saw him. And that's before any of the other ones that I know. The boy Johnny. Now Johnny turned around and did her dirty. But he was a no name, right? Candy could have got anybody she wanted to plan her wedding and do, be her event planner. But what she do? She went and got somebody she could put on, and maybe it did save her a little coin. I'm not saying Candy not cheap, and I'm not saying Candy don't do stuff that might benefit her, which ain't nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, if I can pull you up too, why not? Because you don't have a lot of people that do that, especially at a place in which Candy sit, and the accolades and the relationships that she have. So anyway, so that's my point, is like, I feel like if you think about what we see Candy doing, that is a form of tithing. And so that's why, like I say, tithing is a principle of, paying to get, I mean, it's the principle, but you pay into, and then it comes back to, okay. And that's the principle. So paying it forward, something comes back. Not to say I ain't say loan somebody something, to pay it forward. Somebody bless you, bless the next person. You got a bigger blessing coming. That's how that go. What they call law of attraction, order of the world, tithing, whatever you want to call it, principle. What's that book? Is it Law of Attraction? No, it's a book. Oh God, I can't think of it. Because it's funny that when I read it, I didn't understand. I was like, oh, this all they talking about? Maybe it is Law of Attraction. I don't think it is though. But anyway, but yeah. So listen, that's why Candy is blessed the way that she is. And like I said, she had not always been my favorite housewife, and separate from any of that, because it's just more so she just really never gave a whole lot. So I was just like, why is she here? It was like her family was more interesting than she was. Kind of like Toya. Ain't Toya going through that over there on her show with RHOA? Her family members mad at her. Anyway, So that's it, y'all. Listen, thank you for spending these last 2 hours with me and talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. I really appreciate it. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and that you like this video. I am so close to my first 1,000 followers. I have, I think, 730 right now. So make sure you subscribe so I can get to that 1K. You see, I'm still working on that goal. Um, of course, like I say, hit the bell notification so you can be notified when I do another live. I think I'm going to do another live tomorrow. Um, and it might be for Married to Medicine because I do need to do part 3 of Married to Medicine, that reunion. Let me see. Well, we got Portia jealous of okay. Thought she'd take that woman man to complete her. Oh, well, I don't know, something about saying that she's jealous of Shamia, something about that don't sit right in my spirit. But what I do think that there is some sort of envy. And for some reason, I feel like y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. There's a difference between being jealous and envious. And I feel like the difference is like when you're jealous of somebody, you'll take like you'll sabotage that person, you'll take from that person, you'll have like a hatred or so, you know what I mean? It's a me. But envy, I feel, is more like a you just kind of like why it's not you. You know what I mean? I don't know. Now, am I putting 10 on or 20 on 10 when I separate those words? Because that's the way I see it. And maybe that's why I'm like, I feel a little uneasy about using the word jealous. I do think she's envious, though. Absolutely. Because I think that she was on her way to a certain life and it didn't pan out twice. Because let's not forget, she was first married to Cordell Stewart, who was an ex football player. So twice, you know. So I can see her having envy of her friend, just kind of having what she thought she would have and not having any problems with it. That we can see, and outside of what she deals with her daughter. But yeah, I could see her, but jealous for some reason just kind of makes me think I don't know. I think we'll see it. I think Gail and Oprah talked about it. Talked about how you can't be friends with somebody who is jealous of you, like who wants your life. And maybe that is envious. Uh-oh. So maybe that's why we're gonna see it kind of, I don't know. I'm not gonna use the word fall apart. Hopefully it doesn't. That's just gonna sadden me to know that a friendship of that amount of time is really about to, be torn apart. Um, and it's all because she joined the show. And maybe Portia thought that she would be the anchor, and like say she don't have Simon, so they had to move to Shamia because Shamia, you got it, okay. um and that just is what it is. uh yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe she is. I like I said, I just don't want to think of Portia as being jealous of her friend. I just don't want to think that she that type of girl. But I could see her being envious. I could see her being upset. Because that's more about like I'm just upset with at life and just in general, not at you and not at what you got, but it's kind of like, damn, I want that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I am. I am. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna call as soon as I get off of here. You think okay? So I kind of called that right. Okay, yeah. I think that's a little bit different. Hmm. But anyhow, all right, y'all. So listen, like I said, I think I'm gonna go live tomorrow, probably about the same time, so we can talk about Married to Medicine, and that part 3. And then I think I'm gonna try to go live all week, guys. So because I'm gonna do a video for I'll do a video for traders. So traders ended about 3 weeks ago. I am 3 weeks late, but I'll do just a recap of who won and that. And then Beyond the Gates, we got to do like a small catch up on Beyond the Gates if you've been watching Beyond the Gates, because I'm watching Beyond the Gates. And I think that's about it. I think that's about it for now. I feel like something else is coming on that Love and Marriage Detroit, right? I think that's up now. So I might start covering that as well. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Miss C. Make sure I'm saying your name right. Miss C Norm, Mrs. C Norm. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for communicating with me and chatting with me about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Make sure you are subscribed, like the video, share it with your friends, and then I will see y'all tomorrow, okay? And I am calling the lady so I can get my marketing done, honey. Let's get this business up and running. I need to get this popping, honey. Springtime is coming. The babies need their brows and their lashes done, and I am here for it. All right. And make sure you're subscribed also so I can start doing tours. I just decorated. I'm waiting on a few other items to kind of just finish it up and show my finished product. So I really want to do that at 1,000 subscribers. Okay. Help me get 1,000 subscribers. Cause I'm coming out the gate with some subscription stuff. We about to get these businesses. We about to grow together. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all the stuff I did learn because I just jumped off the cliff, okay, without knowing anything about what I'm doing. I am learning as I go. And it's been a good experience so far. Like you just saw me getting a phone call about my marketing, honey. Like they say the days of putting flyers on people's cars are over. Like you better cut it out. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And I just want to help somebody else. I don't know. I want to help somebody else too, because I feel like I didn't have a lot of help and it's hard to get help. It's hard to just even have somebody to even bounce stuff with, because it's a lot of envy around, not jealousy, but a lot of envy. A lot of times people don't think you should have what you have. And so, it can be hard. So anyway, okay, I'm out of here. Y'all. Let me see. You got one. I know. I'm gonna get it. You're right. Because I'm gonna keep showing up. That's what I'm gonna keep showing up. And I'm gonna just do better. But thanks again. I'm out. Listen, we're gonna keep looking at Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's hard to say goodbye to Kenya Moore, but somebody had to do it. Bye, Kenya Moore. Enjoy.